Hey everyone, welcome back. In this video, I am going to be doing some machine embroidery. I want to work on an in the hoop project to get some gifts ready for back to school. I know it's only the 4th of July, but I'm giving myself some grace this year and I'm gonna make sure that I am not rushed at the end of summer getting back to school things ready. So I'm gonna take one step today and do a fun teacher gift. So let's go ahead and get started on this in the hoop project. I'm gonna list everything that you need to complete this down below. So if you click the title of the video, you'll see all of the materials that I'm using, and I'll walk you step by step on how to do this whole project. And it's so cute. Okay, so I'm going to be using my freestanding embroidery machine, so I will use my Mighty Hoop for that machine today. I don't know that they make my exact machine anymore, but I will link something very similar or a newer model of it down below for you. I'm also going to use some tearaway stabilizer. You can use stabilizer of your choice, but tearaway is what is going to work best for me for this project. I also have a bit of faux leather here. I just have a scrap piece, but we don't need much for this project. And I also have a pack of clear vinyl because we are going to make a fun little badge holder for teachers, which is so cute, but I want it to be able to be clear on one side so that they can slip their little ID card or badge inside and have it still be visible. So I'll be using this as well, and I have not used this yet before, so I'm excited to open that up. I also at Hobby Lobby found this really pretty lanyard. Isn't it really cute? I love it so much, and I wanted to use this to bring it all together at the end, and I love the look of this. So let's go ahead and get started by hooping our stabilizer. Usually I have this all prepped and ready to go, but I thought I would give you the step-by-step instruction on how to do each and every step here. Now, this stabilizer I misordered and is not quite the right size for my embroidery hoop, but I've been using it time and time again, and if I get it just right, then I am okay to go. Okay, let me go ahead. This is a magnetic, so you have to be super careful, and there we go. It works perfectly. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to my embroidery machine and we're gonna go through all of the steps. The first thing we're gonna do is a placement stitch, and the placement stitch is going to allow us to know where to put our faux leather on our stabilizer. I will go ahead and do the placement stitch in a gray thread so that you can see it. And then once I know where that placement stitch is, I can place my faux leather down and then tack it down with my actual thread color. Okay, so there is our placement stitch. Again, I just did that in a gray so you could really see it. And then we know how much material we need. So we just need enough to cover, but go over a little bit. You want to give yourself some wiggle room. So I'm going to trim it down right there and give myself enough for the backside as well. You can also get really creative with your backside and do like a pattern or something like that. I might try to do something like that. We'll see. We'll see. So now I'm going to place that right over, and I have some embroidery tape, and I'm going to go ahead and just secure this. This is not mandatory, but I'm going to secure this just so it doesn't shift during the stitching process. But once you get the next stitch down, then you're pretty tacked down. So if you want to do this embroidery tape, you can. You can also get medical tape from Dollar Tree. I use that a ton as well, and it works just the same. Okay, so now that's tacked down. Now for this design, we're not going to do a tack down stitch that mirrors the placement stitch like we would normally. We're actually gonna go right into the design. And the design here is a box of crayons, which is so cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and just let this stitch out. I'll be changing thread colors as I go, and we'll let this come to life. It's gonna be so cute. Okay, so it's all coming together. Isn't that so cute? Now, the next step is we need to start on the back side. So what we're going to want to do is flip the hoop over, and we're going to take another piece of, in my case, I'm just going to do this white faux leather, but you could do a pattern print on the back if you want. Anything would be super, super cute. In fact, let me see if I have a fun pattern for the back. I always try to go through, I have like a little bin of smaller pieces of faux leather. So this could be really cute too on the back side because it would look kind of like crayonish. Let me see if I like that. That could be super cute. I don't know. I think I might go with just like a pink. That could be super cute as well. So maybe I'll do a pink on the back side. Okay, so I'm going to cut that down just like I did on the front. I'm going to cut that down to size. So it's a little bit bigger than my stitch field. And then I'll keep that for another project, put that back in my basket. Now, this side, again, we're on the back side, so it's going to hang upside down. So we want to be pretty diligent with our tape. I like to just make sure I do all 4 sides. That way it doesn't get caught or it doesn't hang down. So I'm going to tape this side and this side. And then I'm going to take it back over to my embroidery machine, and it's going to stitch around so that it is going to attach the front and the back side. Okay, so now we have it stitched. That's white on white, so I'm sorry, but that's how I want mine to be finished. And if you can see, there are little tick marks on the left and right side, and we'll see them on the back as well. That is where, it's a little bit messier on the back, and I'll trim those down. That's where we're going to line up our vinyl, that clear vinyl sheet, so that we can create the little sleeve for the badge. So let me go ahead and open up a sheet of vinyl here. And these are so neat because they're all individually wrapped so that they stay nice and protected. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to make sure that one of my sides that I'm not cutting is the side I line up, because that'll be nice and crisp. It'll have a nice crisp edge. So if you are using a scrap piece of clear vinyl, just make sure, it doesn't really matter about your other edges, but make sure that top edge has a nice straight cut, because that's where we're gonna line up and it's gonna wanna look really nice and professional. Okay, so let me line that up there. And then I'm going to, again, leave enough room for the stitching on the bottom, but I'll cut this. Okay, now if I were to go and reuse this piece, see where I just cut that there, I would turn it and have a pre-cut side be the side that I'm using for this top part, or send this through a paper trimmer or something like that to cut it down super nice. Okay, so now, just like we did with that pink piece, and you could probably reuse that tape. I did not. Let me really quickly, since this is all going to be clear from here on out, let me clean this up a little bit. Okay. Make sure that looks super nice. Okay. So I'm going to line this up with those little tick marks, just like that. Okay, so I'm lining it up there. And I'm going to tape this piece down. And then I'm going to return it to my embroidery machine. I still have that white thread. That's what my finishing thread color choice is. So you could use the color of your choice, of course. And I'm going to let it do that final stitch. Oh my goodness, it got caught at the last second, but luckily nothing was ruined. Oh, okay, now I'm going to remove it from the hoop, just like this, and we are going to trim it out. Okay, goodness, luckily nothing was ruined there. And you can save all your tape if you'd like, but now what we're going to do is, I'm gonna clean this back side up just a little bit though. I don't have my embroidery scissors near me, but these are just gonna be completely fine. Just clean up this back side where there was a little bit of a messy stitch there. Okay, now what we're going to do is take some scissors and cut around, not close to the stitch. Give about, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch or so. Use your best judgment, but we're going to cut around our project. And also, you can tear away your stabilizer before you do this if you'd like, since this is a tear away. You can, but honestly, it's gonna get caught on that basting stitch anyway, but if you wanna get it out of there and out of the way, then you can do that. I'll get a little bit out of there. Okay, there we go. And I'll cut this out. Okay, and I can do any little cleanup that I need to. And just trim this vinyl down a little bit more. Oh, luckily that didn't ruin it at the end. That made me so nervous. Okay, so then I can toss my scraps or find another use for them. And here is my little ID badge. Isn't that cute? So on the back side, you can place your little ID in there. And now let's go ahead and create the little hole so that we can attach our lanyard. Okay, literally had to go run to Michael's because I used to have a whole bin of these and I don't know where they are. One of those things where I may have put them in a spot that is super smart and now I can't find them. That's always the way it is for me. I always am over organized and then I can't find things. Okay, so I am going to put one of these little eyelets onto the top here. So I'm going to open this up and then grab my tool. Okay, so I bought the 3/16 size. So that is going to be this side of my tool. So I'm going to go ahead and use this side to cut the hole. So I'm going to go ahead and line it up the best that I can and punch the hole. Okay, then I'm going to grab my little grommet, or eyelet, sorry. I don't know why I want to call it a grommet. Eyelet. And, oh, I like that color. It's pretty. It's kind of like a rose gold almost. Some of them seem very gold, but I don't think they're all the same color. Okay, and then I'm going to do it on this part of my tool. Set that right in there. Just like that, and press down. Now, while I was at Michael's, oh, that looks great. Oh, cute. Okay, while I was at Michael's, I was wondering why in the world it caught here. It was just running through my mind. You know when something goes wrong when you're crafting, you're like, why did that happen? Put a piece of tape right up here. I taped to the sides and the bottom, but put a piece of tape along this little lip because that's where it's gonna catch, as it did, and you saw it do with mine. So that's that, but now you won't have that problem like I did. Okay, and then I have this adorable lanyard, which I think is so cute. And how cute is this? In real time, this took me about 45 minutes to an hour, but I love how that turned out. I think that is a very sweet gift. And again, on the back, you can place your little ID badge or whatever you would like in there. All right, everyone. In fact, what would be a great idea is if you decided to gift this to someone and then place a gift card in there for the meantime, and then they can use it as an ID badge after. So hope you enjoyed watching this. I loved creating this. It's always so gratifying to watch a machine embroidery project get put together. Also, I'm sure there are ways for you to make things like this on a Cricut machine. I do not have a tutorial for that, so be sure to search YouTube. I'm sure there are ways to make ID badge covers with a Cricut machine, but this one was with an embroidery machine. All right, everyone, I'll see you in the next video.